All right, we're live. A bit late after the sensational win from Galatasaray. Quite expected,
What a game.
actually, for anyone who's actually been following, how good Galatasaray's been doing recently. It was actually quite expected from us. Without further ado, I'm going to throw to you, Oz. And I want you to start telling us what you think about.
Did that go? It's thinking though. It's echoing a bit from what you're saying to me. All right, yeah, that's better. So basically, what a game! What a morning for me, all the way in Australia. It was a 6 a.m. for us. I got together with some of the guys. It's been a long time coming for a victory like this. Galatasaray, and as you can tell, I'm a supporter.
I think you're echoing.
They've been waiting for a win like this. This is more a manifestation of what Galatasaray have been trying to do for the last 2 years. And finally, with persistence and consistency, it did come through. They beat Manchester United in Old Trafford, the home of football, the capital city of football. And it was a great morning, great
Can you hear me, bro?
And a great 3 points for Galatasaray after a disappointment against Copenhagen. And big game, obviously, there was a lot of moments. I mean, regardless of which team you support and you barrack for, it was a game to watch. It was top flight football, definitely top flight football in terms of the players, the way they sort of played, and they went up against each other. We had some early goals. 70th minute, Manchester United scored. It was obviously a disappointment for Galatasaray fans, as I thought, and we discussed together as well. If they held up in the first 20 minutes of the game, they would have been a bit more comfortable. But copying the goal 70th minute did change things. The way the game changed afterwards. Obviously, the way the Manchester United fans got behind their team. I think there was about 74,000 people at the stadium. And about 10, 15,000 of them were Galatasaray fans, which is massive for an away game, especially at Old Trafford. Personally, I could hear them more than the English fans, but that's how English football is as well. A lot of oohs and ahs, but not much of a big, loud crowd.
Can you hear me when I speak? Can you hear me?
Say that again.
Can you hear me when I talk?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so we're echoing, but I checked the stream. It's not echoing on the stream.
It's not? Okay.
Yeah. You're gonna hear me twice, and I've been hearing you twice, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think that's we should. I've got some headphones. I didn't wear them. Next time. How did you go? Where did you watch the game?
So just a quick update. My buddy Oz and I, he's living in Australia, and I'm living in so it was quite early for us. So it was like 2 p.m. here. I met up with a Galatasaray fan friend of mine. We were
What day is it there?
It's Tuesday here, but it's Wednesday for you, I guess. Yeah.
It's a Wednesday morning for me, mate.
Yeah. So
you watched the game.
It was very exciting. That's what I played exactly as I kind of assumed. We spoke and so the way it goes is if outside we're going to be able to beat the first 25 minutes of pressure that Man United were going to give them, using the home ground advantage, they were going to have an equal shot at winning the game after that. And although Manchester United managed to score, Galatasaray was quickly the first 25 minutes. They were out of that pressure with a tie, and after that it was a fair game. And I think in terms of how the game was played, I mean, I think both teams didn't really play a good game, Galatasaray was definitely the team that was doing what they wanted to do on the. Besides that one position where Rashford, you know, couldn't make the pass, Sasha Boy came and saved it. I don't remember any positions really that were like
Besides that one
dangerous
position where
coming in
Rashford
from Man United. Not many positions from Galatasaray either. But still a missed penalty, and the difference is Galatasaray was actually able to finish the positions they got. Again, I mean, this game also I think is gonna start means we're gonna start seeing Altay Bayındır in the goal. You know?
Yeah, I thought about that
Because
too. He would be.
he was no disrespect to Galatasaray team, but those goals he could have saved two of those goals, especially that last goal Icardi scored. I
Yes.
mean, he was on the ground before the ball was even kicked. But bad news for Man United goals, I guess, because like what they don't know is like Altay is. I can assure them, Altay is no better than Onana. In fact,
Altay is probably the happiest out of the whole squad for this loss, and Onana has been playing like this for a few games now. And when I was watching Manchester United game, well, even against Bayern Munich, they copped 4 goals. Yes, they scored 3, but they are easy to concede against. We saw that again this morning. And Onana was definitely the player of the game for the Turkish side. Having said that, you can't take away from the way Galatasaray played with not losing their heads after going down 1-0, and then again 2-1, missing a penalty, using some chances. When you look at the game, you would think that Zaha. Personally, I think Zaha was the best player on the field today until he came off, obviously. Not only because he scored, but also because of the way he held the
I want to
ball.
tell you there. We're trying to talk on top of each other because it's hard for me to understand. Because I'm
Sure.
double hearing you.
Maybe put your volume down a bit.
So about Zaha, I want to cut in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's also probably my internet connection is not too good. So
That's okay.
I don't think anybody was all that good. I really liked Kerem today. He actually had a few chances. He could have passed one, and he could have shot in one. He kind of mixed it up, and then he missed another one,
Yeah.
and like Galatasaray is really banging up forward. Like that's one thing. I don't think anybody was like Icardi was very bad today. Again, another thing. Despite him scoring, he was like Galatasaray was basically playing almost one man down, and this really says a lot about Manchester United. I feel, and this is going to be maybe too soon to speak, but this is going to be my assumption for the future. But I think Manchester United are definitely going to finish this group in fourth place because I feel like Galatasaray had a harder time playing against Copenhagen than they did against Manchester United. Manchester United has a good team on paper, but like in reality, that dressing room is a very problematic dressing room, very problematic situations in the league going on. And I don't think they're able to cope with the stress of the Champions League, especially after the loss today. I feel like they don't even have a chance in finishing the group third. And then another what we were talking about is who's the best player of Galatasaray. I'm going to leave it to you here. I feel like Sasha Boy had like an amazing game, and Kerem I would put as number two. And I think like regardless of the win, even if Galatasaray had lost, Sasha Boy and Kerem Aktürkoğlu have definitely put their market value up. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, Kerem. See, the thing is, Kerem is playing so good that even Wilfried Zaha can't take his position. He is been the left winger for Galatasaray for about 4 years now, I think, and his connection with Icardi has been second to none. Now, since Zaha joined the team, obviously the left wing position there where Kerem was playing on had to be either taken out by the coach or he had to put Zaha there and use Kerem in a different position. Now, to put Zaha there on the left you can't bench Kerem because he's been playing incredible, especially linking up with Icardi. Most assists in, I think, he's even above Kevin De Bruyne this year. So what Okan Buruk, the coach, tried to do was put him as an attacking midfielder, as a number 10 per se. And this was something that he's not used to. We saw this in the league. He played in the league as a number 10. He really has the ball and he likes to run with it. Especially, I thought, when it was slippery today after raining so much, that he could have done really well on the wing. But again, if Wilfried Zaha is playing there, you're not going to bench him against Manchester United, where he's done wonders with in Crystal Palace in the EPL. So he had to play Kerem in the middle. If you realised, when Mertens went into the game and Kerem went to the wing again, where we usually plays, I think he made even a bigger difference, because then you had the wings open. It was slippery. You had Barış on the right, Kerem on the left, and obviously a 10-man Manchester United, and they did really well. And he also scored. He missed one, which was very disappointing. I thought, at least get the ball onto the goals, even if it hits a post. But to kick it outside in a game like that, I thought it was really disappointing. But then he comes on and he scores again. So it just shows where Kerem, playing as a left wing and also doing those sort of runs into the 16-yard box, really made a difference. He scored. Obviously, he didn't assist Icardi this time, but I think he did really well, man. Kerem was definitely, especially after Zaha came off and Mertens went in and he went back to his position, he played really well.
I feel like Kerem, for anybody who doesn't know him, and for anyone who wants to follow up on him from now on, he's actually quite similar to Phil Foden in how his career is advancing. Because Phil Foden, for years, he played left wing for Manchester City, but even while he was playing left wing, Guardiola and Kevin De Bruyne were both saying that in the future he will sort of transition into a central attacking mid or a central mid. And the transfer of Zaha kind of forced Kerem and Okan Buruk, the head coach of Galatasaray, into this transition, because obviously you're going to put Zaha on the left. That's a given. But now that you're left with Kerem and you don't want to bench this guy who's scoring and giving you assists and has amazing, connection with Icardi. So this kind of forced him into playing in the center, which he's been pulling it off. Like, he pulled it off in the league, which is okay. Like, in the league, you're playing against a certain level of team. But today, he pulled it off against Manchester United and Old Trafford at the highest level of competition.
Yes.
So I think that says a lot. And I think over time, his game as like a, you know, sort of like a center attacking mid, center mid, false nine. He's doing it all. Actually. He's everywhere. He's leaning left, but he's also dropping into the box. He's running deep. He's trying to make the game. So I think that says a lot about the future. And like, Kerem is definitely going to be a different type of baller come a few years. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And what Okan Buruk did with these transfers as well is that he really created a competition between between the players, the midfielders especially, and now we see as defenders, is that he made them, even though they've been really successful in the Turkish league, he told them, you know what, you guys have to work hard for this jersey to be able to play and to start first 11. And we're seeing the fruits of that now. We're seeing Dries Mertens, who was a top goal scorer in the Italian league, being benched, and you've got Kerem, playing better than him and taking his position. And then you've got Zaha on the left. You've got Tete on the right, who didn't really do as well as he could today. I think because the support systems weren't there in terms of carrying the ball to him. And yeah, just what happened with Okan and the way what he wants to do with the team is really coming together now. And I think within a few more games, we're really going to see that midfield cemented. You know, even Torreira coming off. I was really disappointed with Torreira coming off. He was a beat. He worked hard. He got injured. He had to come off. But even when he came off and putting Oliveira in, he didn't play too bad, except from that pass that, you know, obviously Sanchez slipped, which wasn't his fault. It wasn't Sergio's fault. Uh, Sergio did well. And then we also saw Okan. He was about to go 3-5-2 with putting Nelson in, but I think then when they considered the goal, he actually changed that and he went back to, he kept his original plan by just putting Oliveira on, and he kept Sanchez on, he kept uh, Abdul Kerim on. I think he put him on the left at some stage. And yeah, just goes to show the depth of the team, because these guys are playing, they're playing another game in 3 days. So they really have to be, you know, fresh and ready to go, whoever plays in what position. And I think they're showing good signs of that, both in the league and in the Champions League, which is, you know, top flight football.
So let's put a plug on it there for today. And just before we close up, I'm gonna give a bit of a in update about our channel and what we're gonna be doing here from to following on today. Obviously, we're gonna take things at hand a bit more professionally, you know, as time progresses. But we will be covering the top flight football of the Turkish league. We'll be bringing to you
Yeah.
everything about the Turkish league. We'll be covering Galatasaray's journey in the Champions League. We'll be covering the Europa Conference League after the group stages, most likely. We'll be covering the Turkish league weekend, and we will bring this all to you in English with hopes to attract viewers towards the Turkish league from outside, because as far as I can see, not many people are doing this at the moment, and the Turkish league has a lot to offer in terms of quality of football, quality of gameplay, in terms of up and coming young players, in terms of in terms of it increase, you know, going upwards in the rankings of, you know, top leagues in Europe. So Turkish teams will definitely become more and more relevant, and finding English content on what's happening with these Turkish club and with these Turkish clubs and what the rivalry is like in Turkey, and that's something we'll be focusing on as well, because the rivalry in football exists in Turkey like it does in no other place in Europe. You've got so far you've got three big clubs who can, all three could always end up champions. So there is no one dominant winner every year. And then on top of that, you've got like a solid 3, 4 other clubs that, you know, year in year out break that top three, you know, and they end up champion as well. So there's some serious rivalry going on. It's a very competitive league, very hard to, you know, estimate what's going to happen. And we've seen a lot of, you know, footballer superstars and coaching superstars come to Turkey and just absolutely fail because of the level of football. So we will try and bring all that to you from now on. Please like, subscribe, and follow, and we will be back with more. Is there anything you want to add, Oz, before we go off?
No, as you said, I think there is some attention to the Turkish league because of the big names that they've been signing, especially this year. You know, from all parts of the world. You got players from Brazil, from Serbia, from Argentina, from England, from Turkey. Obviously, there's a lot of players from different leagues that are coming together to the Turkish league, which I believe is probably one of the top 7 leagues in the world. And there's definitely some noise being made in terms of the Conference League, Europa League, Champions League, and I think there's a lot of people who want to hear more about the Turkish league. And what we're trying to do here is to bring some news, to bring some updates, to highlight some of the things that are happening in the Turkish league as well as what's happening in Europe. And I think this is going to be a good channel for this. And obviously, we have a lot of work to do in terms of being more professional and more streamlined about what we talk about and say. But yeah, we look forward to talking again. We look forward to doing more lives. We'll most likely do another live after the league game, and most likely, like you said, after Thursday as well, after the European games are played. And I believe there's really exciting things to come. So watch us, subscribe to us, like our videos, as everyone says. Hopefully this will help as well. And we'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you, and see you soon.